meet all of you. My name is Sangeeta Walsh. I work for Ring Central. Ring Central is headquartered in Belmont, California. So I used to live in Chicago, actually, which was a real motivation to come out here again. But our company is global. So I'm here to talk to you about how partnerships drive happiness. Let's see. Oh, all right, let me go back. I think I skipped ahead. Either way. Well, a little bit about my corporate life. So at Ring Central, I manage our global product partnership and also our analytics partnerships. So essentially what I do is I work with different ISV technology partners to make sure that they understand how we work with them and how they work with us. I was recently also a finalist for Women in IT Silicon Valley on developer advocacy because I also manage our developer team, and I speak at a variety of events. We sponsor a variety of events, as you see here, just to get people to be more aware of how together we work better and we drive awareness and adoption of all of our different products. Because if you are wanting people to learn about what you do, the best thing to do is to work with someone else and talk about how together you do something even bigger. I don't know if I'm pressing this the wrong way. Okay, a little bit about Ring Central. So Ring Central, many of you may not be familiar with. How many are familiar with Ring Central? Okay, good amount. Ring Central is a cloud communications platform. So essentially we provide a hub for people to have a cloud phone, so they don't need to have wired services, to have video meetings. So a competitor, which someone earlier was talking about competitive products, would be Zoom and WebEx. And then we also provide team messaging, which competitive products would be something like Slack or Hangouts chat. And then on top of that, we have a contact center. So when you are, for instance, calling United and you want to find out a little bit more about your flight information or talk to an agent, when it says press 1 to go here or press 2 to go there, that's a contact center technology. And then we also have a digital customer service. So if you're on Twitter or Facebook and you're complaining to the Gap, all of that information is getting brought back into Ring Central's platform, for instance, so those agents can handle and respond to your requests adequately. And then lastly, outbound contact center. So for us to be able to manage how an agent would call outbound. So Ring Central essentially lives in the middle of all of these different products. What I manage are the way that these different products integrate with with other cloud communication companies like Google, Salesforce, Okta, Zendesk, and the list go on. And we also manage our developer marketing, how other companies, perhaps a Zapier or there's a lot of smaller CRMs like a ProsperWorks, build into our cloud communications platform. So essentially why I'm here today, outside of being this sick, is to talk to you about why it matters to be in product marketing and why it matters even more to be in product marketing with different partners. We want to believe that not only are our products great, but our products can solve any solution for anyone else. But here we're trying to get people convinced of doing that with a partner. There's a lot of different organizations that feel like we have the greatest product, we're going to promote it, we're going to publish it, we're going to speak at events. But in essence, sometimes that's not always well received. You have to go to market with a plan and ideally with a partner. So one of the things to first talk about is how to enable your partners. So for instance, I speak quite often with Google. I'm always going to their different events. I'm always speaking with them about how we enhance G Suite. I'm speaking with Google on what they do to enhance Ring Central. And essentially, I'm giving them tools and materials for their sales team to go and adequately talk about Ring Central. So when they're in a deal and someone says, I really need a more robust messaging product that Hangouts chat can't solve for, we want Google to automatically think, you know what, we'll use Ring Central. So with enabling your partners, it's key to have the right collateral. I always make sure before I'm going to go to market with, let's say, a new product with Google, I have an adequate partner webpage. So our landing page, our call to action, and any sort of blog post or any sort of commentary always goes to one page that talks about how we're better together. And then secondly, I develop a quick reference guide. And this guide is essentially just a quick snapshot of here's what we do, here's what they do, here's what we do together. And here are potentially the problems or the talking points you can discuss when you talk about our products. And then the next piece is creating videos. A lot of people think, to create a video takes a lot of time. It actually does. But you could actually create a less than 2-minute video that's a simple GIF file that shows how workflow is with just some key bullet points. I found that to be much more effective than just handing a data sheet for somebody to see visually how something is integrating, especially with a partner. And then lastly is to produce an ebook. Now, there's a lot more collateral that you can do with your partners, but these are the key pieces that have worked for us at RingCentral. And I'm sure if you look up RingCentral in Google, you'll probably see a lot of this content existing. And an ebook itself isn't just about how we're great or how they're great. It's more thought leadership, talking about how we solve for a problem in this industry and how these two companies can solve for this problem together. Create programs. So how many of you here drive programs? Demand gen, lead gen? All right, good. A lot of you do. One of the things that RingCentral has been really working hard to do is to continue to drive awareness. We want to make sure we have campaigns with our partners. So for instance, we partner with Amazon. Amazon has a contact center product called Amazon Connect. And we have a contact center product. But what we know is that if we find a prospect that we go after and they are actually already using Amazon Connect, we have an integration with Amazon Connect. We shouldn't abandon the deal. We should realize, okay, we're not going to sell them RingCentral Contact Center, but we could sell them RingCentral and other services. So we create campaigns that address those types of needs. We make sure that even if we don't have something that's exactly going to be what the customer wants, we have something that might augment to what they already have. So we look for campaigns where we can buy lists of, let's say, admins or IT managers, or even a generic manager, end user, to give a persona of this is how it's going to work together and easier with your system. We also sponsor many events. I'm here at this event right now, which is driving awareness for RingCentral. And what we do is we like to go speak at Salesforce. Many of you, I'm sure, attend Dreamforce. We like to speak at Octane. We speak at Knowledge for ServiceNow. And we're constantly having our booths up. We're talking about our product and not only talking about the partnership, but we're talking about how we work well together in each other's platform. And then we work with analysts and press. How many of you guys work with PR, AR? That's a very key point. So one of the things that we like to do is we like to put together a press kit. From all the collateral that I was talking about earlier, we like to take all of this data, put it together, and then we go to the press and we say, wouldn't this be interesting if we did an announcement with, let's say, RingCentral and Slack? How would people think? Because you seem like you're competitors, yet we're working together. So these are a lot of ways that we feel like we can go and disrupt industries together by going and talking to analysts or getting press or getting articles together. And then lastly is webinars. This is the most traditional way that many people run any sort of content for outbound research. And with webinars, what we really try to do is gate that. So if you want to get more information, you have to put in all your content and you have to put in all of what you're looking for before you can get information. So really, these are the big 4 things that we focus on with our partnerships to drive happiness with our customers. It's campaigns, so our customers can see what we're doing together. Events, so we can have more outreach and possibly go to the events where our customers are working, such as Google Next. Working with press and analysts, so we're making sure we're putting publications out there, and then having webinars. And go to market. So how many of you traditionally do go to market? I think all PMMs have to do go-to-market, whether they really think they're doing it or not, we're all doing it. And the biggest piece with me when I'm going to market is launching with different partners. One of the things is if I'm going to launch a product, and let's say I'm launching a product with Okta, what's Okta going to do for me? So if I'm going to create content, collateral, and ebook, is Okta going to do anything with it? Are they going to give me a press release? Are they going to talk about us? Are they going to sponsor us on a web page, etc.? So you want to make sure when you're launching a product for a particular customer to drive awareness with that customer, you're launching that product with that customer, with that partner in mind by either having a story that's being solved. So taking a customer story and saying, with Okta and RingCentral, we solved the use case of somebody spending 5 hours to provision a new user to 2 hours, and this is how. So you want to launch together. You want to optimize a marketplace. And what that means is at RingCentral, we have an app gallery. And with our app gallery, our customers can quickly go to our app gallery and say, wow, I use RingCentral. Here are all the different products that they have with their integrations. And here are all the different partners that they have. So I want to make sure my app gallery is accurate. It is the place and the source of when we're talking to another cloud company. You can see what that cloud company is saying about us and what we're saying about them. It has reviews. It has the ability to contact you. It has the ability to download and pay and get different integrations. Same with G Suite Marketplace, same with the Play Store, etc. We go and we optimize search words in their marketplace because we want to make sure people can easily find us. We want to empower our customers. So a lot of things that we do is work very closely with our customers to say, you might be unhappy with some of the services that we have right now, but let me give you a list of all the things that we're doing, all the things that we may be doing with different partners. So we know you might use this tool, but maybe you want to use this other tool. Maybe you realize we don't have a competitive advantage with this partner. So there's a lot of empowerment and really going to our key customers or customers in different verticals where we talk about our partnerships. And then lastly is incentivize. I mean, the biggest way for our partners to do more with us is for us to incentivize them. So perhaps we'll sell a G Suite license for 10% off because you're buying a RingCentral license at your company. Or we'll work with Salesforce and you'll get Service Cloud at a specific fee so you can get the integration with RingCentral. So all these 4 key pieces are what we do to drive adoption and what we do to drive our customers to better use our products. So again, in the end, it's all about making your customer happy. So what we try to do together with partners is to have beta programs. In fact, right now, I'm actually doing a beta program with Google for add-ons. Are any of you familiar with G Suite add-ons? You can add a bot and you can immediately send out a message, etc., in different G Suite products. So I'm working with Google to do a beta program with our customers. That way we can get customer feedback for a case study. We talk about how we have certain use cases for certain verticals. It's actually quite helpful because it identifies potential gaps in your product. Onboarding and implementation, having that quick reference guide, having an administrative user guide, having what the customer in mind needs to look at in an easy way would actually make your partner and you happy, because it's always very confusing when you're learning a new product, but it's even more confusing when you're using an integrated product, which is what I'm focused on. So not only do you have to learn about RingCentral, but you learn about how does RingCentral work with ServiceNow. Having this onboarding document is really driving what the value is that you're getting in ServiceNow. Success stories, that kind of ties with the beta program. So anyone who's happy, typically we don't like to have any story of anyone who's not happy, but anyone who's happy, we will write a great success story. Here's the problem that they had, here's what was saved with RingCentral and ServiceNow, or here's what was done better to make their business be more productive together. And then lastly is promotion, and promotion can go a long way. I mean, it's a lot of the things that I've spoken about earlier. It's all about how do you articulate what you're doing? How do you work together? How you're doing ads. I'm sure many of you guys see all the different ads that are up on street signs, especially in the Bay Area. Most of the ads are all about different cloud companies and their partnerships. I've seen a lot here about Slack and Zoom. So it's things like that. How do you plan to promote together? How do you plan to drive awareness once you've got a successful partnership? And here's a slide that we use quite a lot with our executive team. What we know is that when you have an ecosystem, when you have a platform that has a lot of partnerships and a lot of people that are working together, you have other people creating content for you. So all of us in product marketing, we're all working really hard to constantly create content. But one of the problems that I think many of us can face is your content of strong value? Is your content reaching out an industry or a particular persona that you need? When you see here in the ecosystem value, there's partners that are actually creating content and social for you because you've enabled them correctly. There's partners creating AR and PR because you've agreed to do a press release with them, or you've agreed to go speak at an event where there'll be analysts. And then there's partners going out and they're referring you and they're inviting you to sponsor events. So actually, you can get them to sponsor your own events and take their marketing discretionary fund, their MDF, and have them sponsor your event. So without even putting forth perhaps half the effort you do for your own product, if you put in some effort, you can have other people create content for you to drive awareness and adoption, and in the end, customer happiness. So in summary, and I'm definitely going to open this up, I think it didn't edit the right way, but we want to drive awareness. We want to create content with workflows and solutions in mind. We want to produce content that showcases thought leadership. So instead of just saying, use my product, it's the best, it's what everyone uses, you want to talk about why people should be using cloud communications. For instance, that's in my field, or why somebody should be using these widgets because they have a problem and these widgets will solve for it. And then you want to drive adoption. You want to build campaigns. You want to have touch points where people are able to march to a same persona and say, we're going after this type of group. We're going after healthcare. Together, we're going to go to healthcare events. We're going to speak at this healthcare seminar. We're going to create collateral that's focused on healthcare. We're going to have a campaign that's going to talk about us together with healthcare. And then you want to make it easy. You want to make sure your content's readable. You want to make sure your partner can read your content. You want to make sure that while you're talking about the value of your product, you're talking about the value of your product with somebody else, which can be hard because sometimes many companies feel like, oh, I'm the best. No one else is like us. We have the best product. Why should anyone else care? But it really does help if you have a strong cloud partnership, at least in our case, to have someone else talk about you and generate that buzz like I showed earlier. And then lastly, you always want to think about your customers. Whenever we launch products, we typically will talk about what the product does and what its features are, but never do I sit down and say, this is what the product solves for. You know, if you don't really sit down and think like this product is saving this much time or driving this much success, you're not probably marketing the product correctly. You want to make sure that when somebody is using your product, they know what they're solving for. So with that being said, this is a picture of our office. Here's my contact information, and I'm open to any questions. Thank you. Any questions? No? Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about legally how you onboard a partner?
Yeah.
How long that
That's a good question. So the question was, legally, how do we onboard a partner? How long does it take? What type of agreements do we use? So the role that I'm in partner marketing and developer marketing is a bit different because some of it is in business development as well. So whenever we see a partner, like for instance, we just signed an agreement with Punch Alert. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this company, but they create emergency services in cloud, and they wanted to sign an agreement with us. And initially, the agreement that I shared with them, they didn't want to sign. They wanted to have it redlined quite a bit. So we have to go back and forth and make sure that there is a clause in there that talks about cross promotion, because the last thing we want to do is sign an agreement and then someone says, oh, we never agreed to promote with you. And we also want to see what that referral is too. So if a company refers RingCentral business or we refer them, how is there a payout? How long does the company have to stay? So there's a lot of nuances depending on how deep of a partnership you want. Usually the agreement can go anywhere from 1 week to a month, pending how big the company is. Google, as you imagine, took us months. Any other questions?
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, you all have heard from me a lot today, but I'm curious about how you think about prioritizing your time insofar as when you're working with other very, very large brands like Google seems to be, okay, this is a no-brainer. Yeah. They have gigantic brand awareness, et cetera, and so on. But the smaller company that you just referred to where your brand might be a bit stronger than theirs and they're drafting off of your brand, like how much additional effort are you going to prioritize and put into that relative to a Google or Amazon?
That's a great question. So one of the things that we struggle with is actually a daily thing. We have the Amazon and Googles, when they request something, we obviously want to be showcased with their platform. But then when we have a smaller company that wants something from us, they look to us as the Amazon and Google of cloud communications. So they want to be showcased with us. In the end, to get business development resources, to get a team of people like myself to support you to go to market, we have to know if you're creating something that could be disruptive. Are you creating a product that's in AI, artificial intelligence? Are you doing something where you're going after an industry that's important to us? So there have been situations where Google has wanted to do more with us, but it's actually been in a place where it's pretty competitive. And if we go to market together, we might be abandoning an opportunity to go after later. So we'll actually go and partner with the smaller company because they might have an AI product that could help us go in with a solution that would make our customers happier. And so it really just depends on what the business case is, what the industry is. RingCentral right now has grown so quickly that we're focused quite a bit on certain industries, FinServe, public service, healthcare, education. So one of the strategic partnerships that we look at are any folks that are in healthcare or any folks that are in education. There seems to be a lot of companies coming up with that. And if an Amazon, for instance, says, oh, come sponsor this event, but it's conflicting with another, we typically go to the other one. Any other questions? Yeah.
So you're on more of the partner side of things. From your perspective, what are some things that product marketing can do to improve our relationship with partners?
So one of the questions was, what are some things that product marketing could do to improve relationships with with partners? Yeah, with partner marketing. So at our company, we don't have two separate groups right now. It's under one group. I'm in the product marketing organization, but I handle partners. One of the things that I am conflicted with is when I'm bringing out the value and I'm talking about the value of the product, I am always thinking partner first because I'm thinking, how do I go to market with a particular product, keeping that partner happy and keeping them in mind? So they'll do a press release or they'll highlight me on stage. It's a huge honor if your name or your logo is mentioned on stage at, Dreamforce or mentioned in the banners on TV or anything that you're seeing, even in real estate here with buildings like Slack and Zoom. It's a huge honor. So one of the things that we struggle with is who are we going to do that with? Because let's say we do it with Zoom. Zoom is a big competitor of ours right now. So if we're going to showcase a partnership between RingCentral and Zoom, are we deprecating potentially an opportunity to highlight our product? So it's something where we have to always think about, when we do that, just because the logo is great, do we want to hurt ourselves in the long run? So when we talk about product/partner marketing, it's a very fine balance. We want to make sure we highlight our product without deprecating ourselves just to go with somebody else. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
So you said earlier some, in my opinion, best case scenarios where your partners are marketing on their end as well. I'm wondering if you have recommendations to get some of your partners to really start the marketing so it's less one-sided. In my experience, we tend to do a lot of the marketing for our partners and we don't see it as reciprocated. Just curious to know if you have recommendations there.
Yeah, that's definitely something, one, you put in your contract, because there is a lot of times where we have a partnership contract and there are people that say, you know what, we're not going to do this press release with you, or we're not going to sponsor this event. And we'll go back to the contract and we'll have it listed out saying you're supposed to be doing X amount of go-to-market activities. But if you don't have that, it is a very hard way. And the best way to do it is to have a customer success story. So we found it where I'm looking at different customers that are potentially using an integration, RingCentral with ServiceNow. And I'll see the logo, the Jacksonville Jaguars, their mutual customer. And I'll say, if we can get a case study of the Jaguars to talk about how our platforms work well together to better this for their business, actually a lot of partners really like that. They say, great, we can potentially put it on a billboard. We can build a campaign. So if somebody doesn't want to partner with us, I'm always coming up with ways of, do we get a customer involved, a customer with a strong logo? Do we potentially get an industry interested, whether we speak to an analyst expert in that industry or whether we speak at an event to talk about a product that isn't necessarily there, but we have it together and you can sell it together on the same paper. Those are the first two steps that we typically look at. Anyone else? All right.
All right.
Well,
Thank
thank you for your time.